continue our topic of pulling together a winning team, some other points to really keep in mind, and many of you can relate to this. There's two types of teams typically. There's a formal team, and a formal team is really structured, it's probably associated with work or school. And then there's informal teams. Now, informal teams are one in which are a team in which you are part of that team and it's more voluntary. You decide to form teams, and it can be very influential and supportive in accomplishing work and getting things done in an academic setting at school or in a work setting. So let me just talk about the behavior of individuals affects and is affected by the team. So now you really don't have a choice typically if you're on a formal team. Informal team, you do have choices. That's at your discretion. So it's often more exciting to be part of an informal team than a formal team. But through this course, the books that we are reading from the Harvard Business Review, the activities we'll be doing and the engagement we'll be having, this will provide an opportunity for us to help make a formal team, even if you're perhaps dreading it now or have in the past, a more exciting venture. That's my hope. So, and just to continue on with the discussion of formal versus informal groups, there's some points of distinction. So, and in fact, there's 4 of them. There's meaning. So a group created, there's meaning of the group. So it's important that when you form a team, a group, there's meaning associated with it. Why am I in this? What's the purpose of the group or team? There's formation. How are we formed? Why am I in this group or on this group or team? The relationship is also the third factor. So who's in charge? What is my role? Do I know, or how do I get to know the people on the team or group? And then communication. Communication is the 4th one. So there's meaning, formation, relationship, and communication. Those are the types of groups, or the types of factors that are so important, both formal and informal groups. And you'll see a slide, a couple of slides from now, which describe each of those and give examples. But communication is so key. How many of you have ever been frustrated or are frustrated with groups or teams where there's ineffective or almost non-existent communication? It can be very frustrating, and lack of communication leads to frustration, uncertainty, and it doesn't optimize the abilities and the focus of the team and the motivation. It can really get in the way. The next topic to talk about in terms of pulling together winning teams, interpersonal dynamics. So on this slide 14, teams can be varied, right, and as diverse as the individual members themselves. And that's exciting. When you have a diverse team where people bring different viewpoints, backgrounds, and perspectives, it actually lends itself to, if you go in with the right attitude and have the right attitude, to have mutual respect and admiration and interest in interacting with each other. And with a common goal and purpose, the diversity of backgrounds, skills, and interests can lead to optimal results for the team. There's also, in terms of, in addition to that, there's also 2 other characteristics that we should look at about teams. And that is in relation or correlated with the diversity of the team. Is the team diverse? Well, if it's not, it's homogeneous, right? There's 2 different types, homogeneous and heterogeneous. A homogeneous group is if the members are similar in one or several ways that are critical to the work of the group, such as age, work experience, education, technical specialty, or cultural background. In organizations, homogeneous groups are often created when people are assigned to groups based on similar technical backgrounds or skill set. And when is a homogeneous group effective? It's usually more productive when the group task is simple. Cooperation is necessary and the group tasks are sequential. So much more structured, fairly straightforward group environment. In heterogeneous groups, however, that was the first one I talked about in terms of diversity. The members differ in one or more ways. And it's more likely to be productive when the task at hand for the group is complex and it requires collective effort. Each member has a different tasks and it demands creativity. So the diversity of backgrounds, experiences, interests contribute to greater creativity, or should. And that is the heterogeneous group ideally would be put together when it's not an urgent group task in terms of the timing of getting the group to a decision point or meeting a deadline. One other point to make is that building great teams is really an important focus of this course. And some of you will be wondering, how do I do that? Well, successful or great teams share several defining characteristics. One, first and foremost, the team understands the goals. There's alignment on goals and objectives, and there's agreement by each member of the team. There's also creativity. The second factor is creativity. Innovation exists and different viewpoints are expected. So if you have a different viewpoint than a team member, which is to be expected, that your viewpoint should be welcomed to a certain extent. Third, I mentioned before, is communication. It has to be open, honest, and respectful. Fourth, people are comfortable taking reasonable risks. And then fifth, members of the team make high quality decisions together. Let me just go into a little more detail on those 5 tips that we just talked about. Everyone on the team talks and listens in a highly functioning team, successful team. Your viewpoint is heard, people have input, and contributions are short and sweet. Not 1 or 2 people tend to dominate on really successful teams. Members also face one another. And there's motivation and there's passion, energy. Members connect directly with one another. So you generally, if you are part of a successful, high-performing team, you connect directly with each other, and you want to be engaged and talk with these members of the team. And here's another factor that might surprise you. Members carry on sidebar conversations within the team, not apart from the team. So let's say you get sidetracked during a team meeting or team discussion, and you talk to your friend who's on the team, and you want to have more of a sidebar with that person. In a highly effective team, performing team, you would actually bring that to the team, and that builds team cohesion because the relationship is such with the team members that the team would benefit from that conversation. And then it's important to note that members of this high-performing team would periodically break and exploring outside the team and bring information back to the team. Kind of best practices, if you will. So to sum it up in terms of building great teams, team building is measured through the following factors. The 3 E's. Energy, how team members contribute to the team. Energy is so important. The second factor is engagement. How do team members communicate with each other? The third factor is exploration. How teams explore solutions with one another. So those the 3 E's: energy, engagement, and exploration. So with that, we've talked about, in this first week of the course, we've talked about pulling together a winning team and how to build a great team. And I look forward to your discussions and comments and input as we move forward with the course. And I'm excited to be working with you all. Have a great week. Thank you.